In this video, we're going to recap the formal written methods that you need to use for adding when you're in years 5 and 6. The first 3 questions on your worksheet are the more simple ones to help us build up the written method. Now, this formal written method, you do need to use it. So you should have moved beyond using resources. If you feel this is quite difficult and you're not able to do this just yet, then have a look at the year 3-4 video. You've got the year 3 part, which is in green, and that shows you how you can use resources. You can still use those resources for numbers like this, or you could have a look at the yellow part of that video, which is starting to get a bit more complicated. That might help you to build up to this. So let's start. I'm first going to look at my digits, look at my numbers and figure out what the numbers are. And because there are quite a few digits, there's 5 digits in each number, I'm just going to count in from the end, 1, 2, 3, and put a comma in, 1, 2, 3, and put a comma in, which helps me to identify that I've got 42,582 plus 47,413. If you haven't already, if you haven't got a very secure understanding of place value and how to read numbers with lots of digits, have a look at the place value lesson that I did earlier this week. That helps you to be able to read numbers that have loads of digits. So I'm going to write my 2 numbers out first. 42,582. It's not necessary to put your comma in, your separator in. I like to do it because it helps you to remember what each digit is worth. Underneath it, you write in the other digits that are the same value, 47,413. Remember that you're adding, and put your equals bar in. I'm also going to label, these are my ones, these are my tens, these are my hundreds, these are my thousands, and these are my 10,000s. Okay, so it is really important that your digits are laid out in separate columns. Don't put them too bunched together, because otherwise they then start to go into each other's columns, and that's where mistakes happen. So starting from the ones, we're going to do 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 ones is 5 ones. Then we go over to our tens column. 8 plus 1 tens, 9 tens. Then we move over to our hundreds column. 5 hundreds and 4 hundreds is 9 hundreds. I'm going to put my separator in. I'm working with my thousands now. 2 thousands and 7 thousands makes 9 thousands. And my 10 thousands, 4 lots of 10,000s plus 4 lots of 10,000, or 40,000 and 40,000, is 8 lots of 10,000s, or 80,000. My final answer is 89,995. So have a go at the first 3 questions on your worksheet now. Remember to set them out, lay them out so that each digit is above the digit from the other number, which is worth the same. So the ones are in the same column, the tens are in the same column, the 10,000s are in the same column. Make sure they're set out nice and neatly. Have a go at using that written method for the first 3 questions on your worksheet. Let's take a look at a slightly more complicated number. So I'm going to put my separators in after the first 3 digits so that I know I'm working with 53,283 and 44,826. I'm adding, and I'm also going to put in my place value headings to stop me getting confused. Not necessary for you to do this if you're already quite confident, but it's quite good to help you build up your confidence. We're always going to start from our ones column, or we'll always start from the digit with the smallest value. If this was decimals, as it will be later on, then you start from those. So we go right over to the right, and in these examples, these 2 numbers, it's the ones column that's the smallest value. 3 ones and 6 ones makes 9 ones. 8 tens and 2 tens makes 10 tens. Now, what's wrong here? I cannot put more than one digit in any column. Only one digit will fit, which means 9 is the largest digit that can go in any column. Once it goes past 9, we need to separate the digits. So only the 0 from this number can stay there. The 0 will go there and the 1 will go here. So there's my 10, but only one digit goes in this column and my 1 is carried over. So my 10 tens is the same as 100, okay? So the 0 was worth 10 and the 1 was worth 100. So the 0 stays in my tens column and the 1, which is worth 100, carries over to my hundreds column. Okay, so that's why we do that carrying. So that carries over. Now let's add all the hundreds. I've got 2 hundreds and 8 hundreds, which makes 10 hundreds, plus the other 100 makes 11 hundreds. 1100. That is the same as 1100. So the only digit there worth 100 is that 1. This 1 is worth 1000. It carries over. So I carry it over. There was the 11. I put 1, 1, carry the 1 here. Okay, so I've now got, I'm in my thousands column. I'm going to put my separator there. 3,000 and 4,000 make 7,000 plus the 1,000 I carried over. That's 8,000. I now move to my 10,000 column. I've got 5,000 and 4,000, which makes 9,000. I have my final answer. It's 98,109. So the next 3 examples on your worksheet, you will have to do some carrying. So always remember, if you had the number 13, for example, this goes in the column and this one is carried. If you had the number 16, this goes in the column you're working with and this number gets carried. Okay, so it carries over and joins the digits in the column, the next column. Have a go at those next 3 questions now. Okay, so now you might think this looks easier because we're adding a smaller number. But where this can get complicated is the lining up, okay? So for example, if I was to, let's identify the numbers. I've got 488, that's easy enough. If I count in 3 and put my separator in, I can see I've got 36,268. So I'm going to write in my number 36,268. What I sometimes see is people write the next number in like this. Why is that wrong? The 4 in 488 is not worth 10,000. If I write in my place value headings, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands and 10,000s, well, that 4 is not worth 10,000. It's not 40,000. My 8 isn't worth 1,000 and my 8 here isn't worth 100. The number's 488. I need to make sure that when you're adding 2 digits and they have different numbers of digits, so I've got a 5-digit number and a 3-digit number, that I pop my digits in the right columns. So my 400 needs to go in my hundreds column. So it goes here. My 8 tens needs to go in my tens column and my 8 ones needs to go in my ones column. So now that is laid out correctly. Okay, so the important thing here is to check your numbers and make sure all of the digits are in the right columns. I cannot tell you how many times I see people make mistakes doing this because sometimes we get a bit carried away thinking that we know it's easy and then we might not pay full attention. So always check your digits are in the right columns and then we just add as before and then it is quite simple. 8 ones and 8 ones is 16 ones. 6 goes there, 1 goes there. So remember, my number always goes, it still reads 16, but the digit on the left carries over to join the next group. 6 tens and 8 tens is 14 tens. plus my 110, 15 tens. There's my 15. 15 tens is 150, so the 1 is 100. It's going to join my hundreds column. 200s and 400s is 600, plus my 1 is 700. Okay, I don't stop there. I need to carry on. Although there are no digits here, there are digits here. So here I go 6 plus, I'm not having to add anything to it, and I've also got nothing carried over here. So it's just 6 plus nothing is 6. I'm going to put my separator there. And 3 plus nothing is 3. So I have my final answer, 36,756. So the 3 examples you have on your worksheet now have a pair of numbers where there are different amounts of digits in each. You might have a 5-digit and a 3-digit, a 5-digit and a 4-digit. Make sure you line up your numbers, your digits, in the correct columns. Okay, so really important how you lay out your calculation. Have a go at those 3 now. Okay, finally, we're going to look at what happens when you add using decimals. Okay, it's exactly the same concept. And just like the activity before, we're going to look at adding numbers where there's different amounts of digits, and you need to also watch out for the value of each digit. So I'll write my first number in first. I've got 362.68, and I'm going to write in my place value headings. So I know this is 100, I know this is 10, I know this is 1. Now here my first decimal number is a tenth. It's worth 1/10. And my second decimal number is a hundredth. It's worth 1/100th. Okay, so I've written in some of my place value headings for my first number. So the next number, 488.2, I need to figure out where that goes. Now the decimal point helps you, doesn't it? Because that helps you to see that the first 8 is worth 1. So I can write in my 488 point, and I only have one decimal place, 0.2. I have no hundredths. I'm going to pop in my add, put in my equals bars. Now this is what I recommend when you are adding or subtracting 2 numbers and you have different numbers of decimal digits. You're going to use a placeholder. So in 488.2, there's nothing in the hundredths column. But what I can do with decimal numbers, but not normal numbers, is I can actually put in a little placeholder there. I can put a 0 there, and that doesn't change the value of that number. Okay, I can't do that if I'm working with whole numbers. But when I'm working with decimal numbers, I can put a placeholder in there, and that will help with adding in and subtracting numbers. So like I said before, we always start with the smallest digit. We go right over to the right, and in this case, we're working with hundredths. So I'm going to add 8 hundredths and no hundredths. That makes 8 hundredths. Then I've got 6 tenths and 2 tenths. That makes 8 tenths. I put my decimal point in here, and that is important to put your decimal point in straight away. Again, I've seen lots of great calculations with decimal numbers, and then people forget to put the decimal point into their answer. Now I'm going to go to my ones. 2 tens and 8 tens. It makes 10 tens. I can't put 2 digits in, so I put my 0 and 1. There's my 10. Just carrying the 1 over. 6 tens and 8 tens makes 14 tens. Add my 1. 15 tens. There's my 15. I've carried the 1. 300s and 400s make 700s plus my 1, 800. And there I have my final answer. It's 850.88. So with the 3 questions on your worksheet, please make sure that you read the numbers first. Get in your head, what are you working with? What's the biggest number? What's the smallest number? make sure you write the first number in, put your place value headings in, write the next number underneath it and line the digits up correctly. Make sure all of the digits from both numbers are in the correct columns. And then if you need to with the decimals, put any placeholders in and then add as you did before. Okay, good luck. Give those 3 a go now. Finally, we have a word problem. I'm going to go through a word problem with you on the screen and then you can have a go with the one on your worksheet. Ryan posted a TikTok on Monday and it got 63,509 views. I'm going to highlight that. In the first 24 hours. In the next 24 hours, it had another, so that's important, another 17,398 views. How many views has the video had in total? So in total, it's an adding question and we're simply going to add the two numbers. So we need to line them up. So 63,509 and then I have 17,398. Write my add in. So I've lined up all the digits in the correct columns. I'm going to start with the smallest value, which is my ones. 9 and 8 is 17. There's my 17. 0 and 9 is 9. Plus my 1 is 10. I've got 10 tens. There's my 10. I carry the 1. 500s and 300s is 800s. Plus my 1 is 900s. 3 and 7 thousands are 10 thousands. Carry my 1, there's my 10. 6 lots of 10,000s plus 1 lot of 10,000 is 7 lots of 10,000s or 70,000 plus another 10,000. So 6 plus 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. I have 8 lots of 10,000s, that's 80,000. So my final answer is that Ryan had 80,907 views in those first 2 lots of 24 hours, in the first 2 days. Have a go at the word problem on your page now. I hope you've learned something new and you can obviously keep practicing yourself by giving yourself questions and then checking it on a calculator, but mix it up, make it more difficult by putting decimal numbers in, numbers with different amounts of digits. Okay, good luck. I hope you enjoyed that video today. If you've enjoyed this lesson video, then please have a look at our website where you can sign up for access to loads more free resources to support maths learning in Key Stage 2. So that's years 3 to 6. I started doing these lesson videos in response to the school closure. We already have a year 6 app on the market, but the years 3 to 4 and 5 are all being designed especially to help you with your homeschooling. So if you want to keep up to date with more resources as I make them, then check out the website and you'll be able to sign up at www.pocketprivatetutor.co.uk. We're also on Facebook and Instagram where I'm posting loads of different puzzles and tips and tricks that you can have a go at with your family at home. Hope you've enjoyed the lesson.